Welcome to Daily Dose of Satanism, podcast to get your daily dose of Satanism. I'm your host, Satan. I'm an author of satanic books as well as my blog that you can check out at Satanwolf.com. It's 100% free. Now, we do have some really cool merchandise you can purchase, from books to clothes and accessories. There's a wide selection of both satanic and non-satanic products to choose from for those who've got a rebellious sense of style. While we always appreciate your support, this is the best way to support the show. You can also give us a like or a share or a subscription at any one of our multiple platforms, from Facebook to Spotify. Thank you very much. Enjoy the show.
Welcome back to Daily Dose of Satanism. Last episode, we laid the foundation, tearing down the lies and defining exactly what Satanism is. We talked about self-deification, indulgence, our carnal, atheistic worldview. We started at the beginning, but now it's time to get a little bit more personal. Today, I want to talk about a symbol that is central to my own philosophy and to the way I see the world. We're going to talk about the wolf and its deep connection to Satan and the satanic mind. For me, the two are inseparable, and understanding this symbolism will help you understand me and maybe even yourself a little better. It's why I chose the moniker Satanwolf. I'd like to start by reading a couple of my essays from my book, Satanwolf's Grimoire. These two are some of my favorites in my earlier stages of Satanism. When I first started writing, I find that writing about Satanism is a good way to learn about it. That was what worked for me. You go ahead and get inspired, do the research, pick up some books. You don't know the answer, find the answer. That is a satanic way. You don't have to be intimidated by what you don't know. You just learn it. So anyway, when I first started my delve into Satanism, if you will, the wolf was something that really resonated with me. And I wrote a couple of essays from a book that I just want to share with you guys to help maybe explain this a little better. I'm going to read one, and I'm going to take a quick, shameless self-promotion break. And then I'm going to read the second, in which I will then go into my thoughts and personal feelings on these essays. And that's the plan for the episode. Now, before I get too deep into it, I want to take a minute to speak about the recording and quality of the show. I noticed in the first episode there was a couple overlaps where I got repeated a little bit, and I'd like to take a second to explain that as I'm learning how to do this podcast thing. It's something fairly new to me. When you're recording, it's not all just one track and one recording. There's sometimes you have to go over things twice just to make sure. One recording may have an error or something really embarrassing or loud in the background that you just don't want in your show because you can't control the environment around you. Well, I guess take that back. If I was in a controlled environment, it'd be a little easier, but nevertheless, these are the challenges that I'm facing, and I'm working on improving this as we go. But I appreciate your patience as I'm working out the kinks. Maybe as the show grows a little bit, I can invest in some better software that'll make the editing process a little bit easier. And that in turn, with my experience, will get better and we'll grow through this together. But thank you for listening, and thank you for sticking it out. Today, we're going to talk about the wolf and the sheep. The image of the wolf is a classic archetype, one used in fairy tales and religious parables almost always as the villain. It's a solitary predator, cunning and fierce, threat to the innocent, obedient flock. In the Christian narrative, the devil is often a wolf in sheep's clothing, deceitful enemy of the docile followers. We reject that narrative entirely. We embrace the wolf. The wolf is the symbol of the individual, of the one who lives by their own cunning and strength, not by the rules of the herd. It represents independence, intelligence, and a fierce loyalty to its own pack. The wolf does not follow blindly. It thinks, it hunts, and it survives on its own terms. Conversely, the sheep represents the unquestioning masses, the followers who are led to the slaughter by a shepherd they are taught to trust without question. They sacrifice their freedom for the illusion of safety. As Satanists, we are not sheep. We are not meant to be followers. We are born to be questioners, to be predators in a world full of prey. We are here to hunt for our own truth, to seize our own power, and to protect our own. This is why I chose the name Satanwolf, to embody the adversarial spirit of Satan, with the self-reliant, predatory nature of the wolf. It represents the best of our philosophy in two simple words. To illustrate this, I'd like to share a couple excerpts from my own writings on this very topic. Okay, we're going to continue. I got a couple of essays or poems, if you will, from my book, Satanwolf's Grimoire. We're going to start with The Wolf and the Lamb. The Satanist, a cunning wolf, prowls amidst the bleating sheep of society. This wolf is an embodiment of individualism and defiance, strides with an air of indifference towards the herd's politics and conventional morals. Why would a creature so distinct, so fiercely independent, concern itself with the trivial machinations of a populace that values conformity over chaos? The wolf, a solitary figure with a tighter-knit pack of like-minded individuals, revels in the freedom of self-determination, while the sheep cling to their established rules, bleating in unison about the importance of societal norms. The Satanist thrives on the fringes, embracing the chaotic beauty of existence. In this dance of existence, instead, choosing to carve out a path that resonates with personal truth and empowerment. Thus, the Satanist stands apart, not out of disdain for the flock, but from the intrinsic understanding that true power lies not in blind adherence to collective beliefs, but in the audacity to forge one's own destiny. The power to determine for himself what is right and wrong. In a world where conformity reigns, the wolf's indifference becomes a powerful statement, a rejection of the mundane in favor of the extraordinary. Now we're going to take a quick little break for a bit of shameless self-promotion, after which we'll return to the show and I'll read the next essay. I want to take a minute to tell you about Satanwolf and Satanwolf's Den. I am Satanwolf, a moniker I've chosen to represent my satanic beliefs. In my writings, I often choose the metaphor of Satanists as wolves and Christians as sheep, reflecting the difference between self-reliance and conformity. Satanwolf's Den is my website, the home of my satanic blog, and much more. It's a place designed to be both a learning resource and a store. You will find a wide selection of satanic products, as well as some outrageous non-satanic gear for those with a bold sense of style. These styles are guaranteed to get noticed. You can also explore Satanwolf's library, which features all of my published works, along with a collection of blank books for you to use as your own satanic grimoires. Thank you, and now back to the show. And back to the show. We're going to get on with an essay called The Shepherd and the Wolf. The Good Shepherd and the Big Bad Wolf. Christians are sheep wandering under the watchful eye of their shepherd, Jesus. Yet beneath his tender guidance lies a dark purpose. He nurtures the flock, helping them grow strong, only to shear them for their wool and lead them to the slaughter. The shepherd's care is a mask for a grim fate. He raises their young not as friends, but as future meals, trapping them in a relentless cycle. In stark contrast stands the wolf, a rebellious figure who shuns the shepherd's control, choosing the perils of freedom over the deceptive comforts of the shepherd's snare. The wolf embraces the wild, aware that danger lurks in every shadow, yet he values his autonomy more than the false security offered by the shepherd. He opts to feast rather than to be feasted upon, daring to carve his own path. In this twisted tale, the lines between savior and predator blur, challenging our understanding of protection and sacrifice. As you see, the symbol of the wolf is more than just a name, it's a philosophical ideal. It's a call to embrace your own strength, to stop believing being a victim of the flock, and to become a master of your own destiny. I believe there's a lot of good symbolism here with the wolf and the sheep and how it's kind of related to the flock and conformity and, just how the shepherd relates to Jesus and the slaughter, all that. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Those couple of my writings, they were the earlier on ones, a little short, but some that I really love. I think it makes a good point. Now, speaking of wolf packs, if you'd like to support the pack, if you'd like to read those essays or explore more of my work, you can find them and many more in my book, Satanwolf's Grimoire. It's available on my website at satanwolf.com. It's a learning resource, a community, and a place to support this show. It's a space for those who have chosen to shed their wool and embrace their true nature. Just before we go, a few things I just want to say. And I would just like to, before we go, speak about this subject a little bit more as far as my personal feelings about it. The wolf, I think, speaking about how he steps out of the comforts of the flock, very relative to how it feels with Satanism. When you pick it up, you drop all those little comforts that you've been told all your life about an afterlife and this big prayer daddy in the sky that's watching every little thing that you do. And once you get rid of all that and actually see the world for how it is, it's a little bit harder to take. That's one of the reasons why Satanism is not a very popular religion, because it doesn't make things, just go away like Christianity promises and never produces. But it brings in realism, the reality of life. And sometimes it's a bit tougher when you live in life on the real side of things, delusion free. Not to mention the flock will fear you once you become a Satanist. Of course, anybody who knows it, they're just totally terrified, have no idea, ignorant, doesn't know what's going on, and that's something you're gonna have to put up with. Or you could just keep your Baphomet tucked in and go completely incognito if that's your thing. But just do be prepared for the isolation that comes with Satanism, which is a whole nother subject I have for another radio show. Yes, Christians are the most intolerant of all, I find. And they will not like you. I've had a lot of people who were supposedly really good friends that once I came out with my religion just, won't have anything to do with me anymore. And I think that's okay. I'm finding that I have a taste for a different type of community, and so you want to find other like-minded people. There's no point in me hanging around with a bunch of people that are obviously a little crazy believing in this big prayer daddy in the sky. So it limits your choices. It's a lot harder to find somebody that you can relate to. And it can be a little isolating at times. But again, that's an episode for a future edition of Daily Dose of Satanism. I'd like to thank you for listening. I hope this episode gave you a new perspective on the meaning of behind the name and a new way to see yourself. Until next time, farewell, and may critical thinking forever guide your path. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in hell. So we take this night, our rightful gifts, and trespass not on passive pain. Lead us unto temptation, and deliver us from false piety. For this is thy kingdom, power, and glory, forever and ever.
Satanwolf.com.
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 Daily Dose of Satanism.